How do everybody? So I'm just going to give some further thoughts on the situation that's happened in Southport and also things around the United Kingdom, more a continuation from yesterday. First off, the name of the at this point suspected murderer, because he has now been formally charged. There are legal restrictions in place, so I do need to be very careful now with what I say in regards to this. But the judge has released his name, which is Axel Muganwa uh, Rudakubana. Sorry if I've well, no, I'm not sorry if I butchered that pronunciation. F that guy. You know what? Absolutely F him. Um, I couldn't care less if I butchered his name. But anyway, 17-year-old. The judge said words to the effect of he's going to turn 18 in about 6 days. And with the violence that's been happening, she didn't want unnecessary continuation of violence to continue, caused with a lack of information being out in the public domain, which I think was a very sensible move of that judge to do that. But the point of the video, really, what I've been thinking of today is the point as to which the effect that violence in society has on our political system, and it shouldn't do, but and I am in no way, and I want to be very clear about this, in no way endorsing going out rioting or causing violence. I absolutely do not encourage that, to be very clear. But unfortunately, it appears to be working. We saw this with the Palestine protesters, where members of parliament were literally cowering, and some of them in tears, with the speaker, Lindsay Hoyle, almost in tears. They capitulated to the mob there because they thought that the Houses of Parliament were going to get stormed. I'm guessing that anyway. We've seen this with the two men from Manchester Airport who attacked the three police officers, viciously, by the way. They haven't been arrested, they did get arrested, but they haven't been formally charged, and they've been released on bail as well at this point. Because, again, there were mobs out. Again, in Leeds, Hare Hill, where Roma gypsy families had their children taken away for neglect reason. They went out rioting, and they went out rioting again. They got the kids back. And now we're seeing this here with Southport. Once again, a mob's gone out because the police refused to release any information. Mob has gone out, and although I don't condone the violence, I fully 100% support the anger. I absolutely understand the anger, and I fully support them being angry. And that is absolutely justified anger as well. And I think the way that it's being portrayed as being far right and racist and all that other crap that's coming out, what a horrible, horrible group of people to think that, just to be just so dismissive of the concerns of what it comes down to is it's class warfare. But that's also the other point on this. I'm going to link two videos in. And the reason why I've done this video is because last night there was a protest in London outside Downing Street, and the police turned up in full riot gear, and they went full mob-handed on the crowd. And in my belief, the police caused the violence that happened, and people ended up defending themselves. Now, obviously, they didn't conduct themselves in the best way because some of them were drunk, but if the police hadn't have gone in mob-handed, I do not believe that would have kicked off last night, and I believe the police have intentionally stoked it up, and more than likely, although I can't prove it, I would believe it would be on orders from on high. I do believe that it may be for political reasons that they've stoked it up. But we also see the way that the government themselves are speaking about these different groups. When it was like the riot in Hare Hills and Whitechapel, well, we're going to have, politicians were all saying we're going to have to meet with community leaders, and, there's obviously problems going on here and we need to address the concerns. When it comes down to white people, no, get the riot gear on and start smashing schools. It's that obvious. And after last night, and I know I said it yesterday, they appear to hate us. It's only further cemented it in my mind. They absolutely do hate us. And I think it's evident to see. I don't even think they're hiding it anymore. It is such a double standard in treatment. Even the language that they use and the way they describe different groups. We're hearing about how these people are racist and bigots and they've got to come down on them like a ton of bricks. You don't get that when brown people are rioting. All you get is, we as a society need to learn lessons from this, and what can we do to help these communities better in the future. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, and I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it, and this is what these riots are actually about. It's about this double standard in treatment. It's not those girls, and it is horribly tragic, getting stabbed and those who've been injured. It's awful. But that's the catalyst of people's anger. This anger is a symptom of a much deeper problem in our country. And it's not just from the double treatment and like seeing the Palestine protesters and the BLM protesters getting treated like royalty, and Just Stop Oil getting the red carpet laid out and getting cups of tea given to them, whilst the Sarah Everard vigil got arrested. This is also things like the industrial scale rape of our children by Pakistani, Bangladeshi Muslim rape gangs, and the police covering it up. So when people say, "Oh, why are they attacking the police for?" It's because the police have showered themselves in effluent for years by going hand over fist to cover up for the crimes against the people of this country. That's why the police are getting targeted, because the police have been doing the dirty work of covering up for these invaders in our country, and for coming down like a ton of bricks on anybody who tries to highlight it. I mean, for Christ's sake, Tommy Robinson got arrested under the Terrorism Act for showing a video. On and then the next day, that idiot goes and murdered 3 girls, and potentially there could be about 5 or 6 more who could die from him at the exact same time. That is the clown show that we're living in right now. That is why people are mad at the police. Because young girls who are getting raped and pimped and drugged and trafficked and branded, and locked in cages and beaten and God knows what else by men who are brown and who are Muslims, when they tried going to the police arrested the girls, the victims themselves, as racists. That's why people are mad at the police. That's why people are attacking the police. And this isn't a slight at individual coppers. I've got family who are retired police. I've got friends who've been in the police. I've got no problem whatsoever with police officers. It's the institution of the police force itself. And it is a corrupt hierarchy within the police who are more concerned about climbing that greasy pole and not getting labelled an hysterophobe than they are about actually doing the jobs. They're more concerned about covering up crimes against white people than they are about doing the job, because they don't want to get labelled as some sort of a bigot because it might prevent their promotion prospects in the future. And that's what this boils down to. That's why people are mad at the police. And it's that simple. And these people in these crowds who are rioting in Southport, they might not be able to articulate that. They may not be able to say those words themselves, but they're able to function enough in their own brains where they can sense that there's something up with the institution of the police. They can sense it. They know. They may not be able to word it, and then it all just comes out as a load of effing immigrants and effing police. But that's what it's about. Why did they attack a mosque, you might say? The lad wasn't a Muslim. Because we've had decades of Muslims raping our children and blowing themselves up in our city centres and engaging in mass stabbing sprees. So this has been the catalyst to that mosque getting attacked. Yeah, this individual wasn't a Muslim. But people don't give a toss about that. The baby has gone with the bathwater a long time ago, I'm afraid. And if you're incapable of understanding that, you're either a disingenuous prick or you're too thick to even bother speaking to. Or, finally, you're a traitor and you're intentionally trying to obfuscate. Which one are you? Which one are you? Because it can't be anything else. It's got to be one of those three. And people have had enough. And as I say, I don't agree with the violence. Don't get involved in violence. But my goodness, can I understand the anger of those people? Oh, and by the way, while this was all kicking off in Southport, there was only machete attacks going on in Southend as well. That's not been all over the news, has it? The Prime Minister's not given a massive condemnation of a bunch of black people trying to hack each other to pieces with machetes. Oh, no. No, we won't talk about that, will we? We'll talk about some white people instead who are throwing bricks. That's far worse, isn't it? Instead of... black people can run around with machetes in front of a theme park, whereas people on roller coasters with the children, that's fine. We won't criticise that. That could have been more dead kids there. No. What we'll do is we'll criticise white working class people for getting angry because they're sick of our people being killed and drugged and pimped and murdered and everything else that comes with it. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm really, really getting upset over this whole situation. And as I said yesterday, this I cannot see this going away. This is going to be like the summer of Floyd. Everybody knows George Floyd's name, don't they? An American drug addict who held a gun to a pregnant woman's belly, and so he could rob her. We all know about that man's name. Who knows the name of that Lieutenant Colonel that was stabbed up the other day? Go on, any of you know his name? I don't know his name either, by the way. That's just popped into my head. How many of us know his name? None of us. One of our own people has been nearly a soldier, by the way. A lieutenant colonel. That's not a rank to be sniffed at. That's an achievement. Lieutenant. I know. I used to be in the army. I understand the rank structure. That's an achievement. Getting to lieutenant colonel. You know, he's obviously a talented man. More than likely a fellow veteran of war as well, like myself. Whether you agree with that or not, he's done his duty for his country. None of us know his name. We all know George Floyd's name. Think about that as well. Think about that and how perverse that is. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Take care. Goodbye.